Hi everyone, boys and girls, men, women, children of all ages. It is Kenny at Lionel for Less. We're sitting here in the morning after work. As I've probably told everybody, I drive truck at night, and I like it because there's less cars out and stuff, and it's more serenity, and I'm able to deal with the job. This is step 2 of the F3 restoration we're going to do today. Taping and then painting will be step 3. I've done a couple here already, but I'm going to do one with you just to give you an idea of how to go about it. And you know, anything you don't want painted, tape it off, is basically the gist of it. As you see here on the sides, we have sanded down real nice and smooth all those little pits and dust and things that get in it from the factory. And so, you know, what we're attempting to do is do actually better than a factory finish, or just as good. Now here's a newer F3 frame. As you see, Lionel eliminated a step in the process for a part and labor to put it in, because as I said before, once you take these out, you can get them back in, but they never really go quite back in like they were before you took them out. Sometimes the tabs will break on you, but I think beginning in 1954 or 55, I'm not sure of the year. I used to be, but I'll have to study that again. They just went to this socket that was die cast right in the frame. So that's cool, because we don't have to worry about taping that off. You know, after doing hundreds and hundreds of these, I just used to refurbish these and sell them, you know. Back when I used to sell trains. It's not worth the hassle, or I'd do it again, you know. It was a lot of fun, but it takes a lot of time also. And generally, you won't have any benefits or anything like that from doing it. A lot of people moaning and complaining, trying to get, you know, $1,000 train for $500 off you, $400 off you. You know, you sell them a $100 train, and then they want $30 back, you know. And a lot of guys, they build their collections usually, which is terrible, but you know, 99% of the people are good and genuine. And if places like eBay would ever really be fair with the sellers and look at each individual case, it would be a much easier thing to do on eBay. Okay, so we're going to get a close-up here, I hope. And once again, I am void of a cameraman, and I am going to attempt to try to show you how we do this the best way that I know. Of course, as with everything else, there are 1,000 ways to do it. Main thing is tape off everything thoroughly that you do not want painted. You will need just some blue painter's tape for this, an X-Acto knife, or if you're better with a blade, you know, just use the blade, but I don't recommend this. It's taken years of detailing experience with cars and taping off cars and different things to get used to just using the blade. And I've cut myself a lot in the past, only when I was rushed. Some kind of pick or something to tuck the tape, and screwdriver for the same reason. Okay, so we'll start with the steps. you tear off a little piece like this, and you want to look underneath there and try to tuck the tape underneath that step as far as you can. If there's a gap there, you know, on some of them there is, on some of them there isn't. Depends on how wore out it is. And wrap it around there like so. And really, first thing you should do is the bottom. I'm sorry. And try to use, you know, only as much tape as you need, because you'll just be working around yourself then. And tape it down. And then take your fingernail, if you have one, and work it along the crevice of the ladder there. Okay, take your tool this end and try to smooth it in there. Screwdriver, same thing. Just try to get that covered. The best thing is if you do have a little fingernail. It really is the best way to do it is your fingernail. Okay, then just take the blade and trim along where you put your finger and get that extra tape out of there, like so. Repeat the process on the other side. Who knows how this is going to come out? I've never really, I need a camera person. I'm going to have to start bribing my wife or someone into doing the camera for me, so I can give a little better descriptions and clearer pictures. Okay, trim that off. Also, peel it away. Now you see there we've got a nice covered surface. Take your fingernail one more time and run it. Try to tuck the tape underneath that ladder a little bit if you can. Okay, so we've got this piece left. Tear off another little piece here. Use the bottom edge. That's straight. Pick the frame up. Try to tuck it underneath the ladder. Wrap it around. And down. Once again, take your fingernail. Try to make sure that it seats good. That anywhere that is not covered will be painted. And you can hurry up and remove mistakes with lacquer thinner before it dries. That's always good to know. And this is a dummy one, so we have an easy one on this one. Next I'll show you how to do the battery compartment. Okay, so we've got that ladder taped off nice. And now we need to do our light. I've removed these and I haven't. And I found out it's probably best just to leave them in, because they really never go back as good as they were in the first time. So it's better just to tape them off, tuck it in, so nothing gets down in there. And voila, you got the dummy frame taped off. Alright, let's try another one. Okay, now on the battery component side, the first thing we want to do is cover this this circle button. So tear off enough tape that you cover the button, or the rivet rather, I should say. And take your fingernail, go around there. You don't have a nail, take, you know, something, go around, try to form it around there. Take your X-Acto knife or your blade and cut around the rivet. Try to get that rivet as close as you can. Okay, so we're going to remove what was left just to see where we're at on it. Okay, and we're a little sloppy on this side, so tuck that in. Tuck it in. Tuck it in as far as you can get it. Make sure that it's covered. Now there's a small little piece there that's not covered. So once again, I'm going to take a spare piece that I've been working with here, and once again, using the straight edge, let's come in here and try to cover that rivet where it was missing, which was right there. Okay, and we're going to take that, trim that off. Now, to do the battery compartment, start with a piece, take the battery compartment up the cover and tuck it under there as far as possible. Work it in there. Work it in there. And bring it around, tape it off. See how we did that? Now we got on the other side, it's getting covered. So that's all we're trying to do here. Not rocket science. And just keep working it around the battery cover, going from the downward thing to the up. Let's get that covered. Okay, that's what we do on those. So if you missed anything on that, rewind it, check it out. Let's do the ladder again. Tear off a small piece, find the straight edge. Look on the ladder, tuck it in, start sticking it down and around. I used to be really good at this. We used to do them by the 50s and the 100s. Yeah, well, I would buy old frames and just redo them and have, you know, sell a clean frame. Start it off at 99 cents and see what happens. Okay, that piece wasn't quite long enough. You want the piece to be long enough to cover the whole ladder. Stick it down, put it on. Okay, now take your fingernail, work it in, Tuck it in under that ladder the best you can. Okay. Take your blade, go along that edge, cut the excess off. Remove it, see where you're at. As far as coverage goes. Okay, so if you're happy with that, get in there and then tuck it under. I can't put enough emphasis on getting your finger in there and tucking it in a little bit. It seats it down good and makes for a nice clean job. And you know, if you don't wipe it off with lacquer thinner, if you get some on there, it will be on there forever. Okay, I see some here. I can trim off. Sometimes it's just the little tiniest pieces come off, you know. But it makes for a neat job. Okay, so we've got this end here not covered all the way. Let's tear off a small piece. Well, let's cover the rest of this ladder from the inside. We know the outside's covered down. Okay, so we can even trim that right there if we'd like. Once again, I recommend using an X-Acto knife if you haven't done body work or something in the past. You can cut the crap out of yourself with just the blade. I've had stitches, you know, from taping cars off too late in the day and not taking your time, you know, because the boss is on your behind to get it done. And, you know, you have a music gig to go play and your mind is not on it, and boom, you cut yourself. Okay, so the ladder again. We're going to take our tape, tuck it in as far as it'll go. Bring it around. And you know, you can use scissors for this too. Like if you want to cut this top piece off instead of using a blade, just use scissors. Take a look at everything. It's now those little corner pieces that need cut. Why are people calling me when I'm trying to do a video? I'm a very popular fellow these days. Okay, now in the corners, make sure those corners are covered. Sometimes they get omitted. In the mix there of those steps. You need a small piece just to cover the corner. Just cover that corner, tuck it in. Seat it. There we go. You've got the battery compartment covered real nice on both sides. Because instead of taking this off, what I do is I spray, like I'll move it, I'll spray this part, wait for it to dry a little bit, and then just flip it up a little bit and then spray this part. Once again, you know, I'll just spray this part, let it dry some, and then push it up, spray this part. Okay, so all that leaves is the bulb again. Take the piece that is flat from the roll, Put it at the bottom. And go around the bulb. Okay, that one didn't meet on this side. So we'll tuck it in. And we'll take one more piece and just make sure that that bulb is covered. And voila! That is how you tape off an F3 frame for paint. Like I said, you have the option of removing these, but those tabs will often break on you, and they very rarely go back as tight as they were. And then you got a light bulb moving around on you and shorting out, which is not cool. Okay, so I'm going to do these couple other ones here. Not to bore you to death, but you know, you won't have an assembly line like me, so you can do this stuff while you're watching TV. Little things like this. You know, just steps in the process that have to be done that you can do while you're doing other things once you get good at it. Tuck it under, bring it around, bring it up, over, down. Your steps taped off from the outside. Do this one, do that one the same way. This one needs some repair. We're going to put a drop of stupid glue on that, and then tape it off. Another dummy, so we don't have to do the battery cover on this one. Take your flat piece of tape, come down, and around. And that one will be ready for paint. The main thing, once you do your first couple, you'll get the gist of it right away. So I'm hoping that those came out seeable. Like I said, I don't have a camera person, and that is messing with me bad. But we're going to go out and I'm going to show you some spraying techniques and what kind of paint I'm using. And it's the closest thing I found to F3 paint so far. So this is Ken and Lionel for Less. Step 2 in the F3 restoration. Taping off for paint. God bless. And I'll see you back on the next step. Thank you.